And we are live, Rhea.
Hello, hello. It's almost time to say Happy New Year. This is such an exciting time. It's like the birth. It's the birth of a new year. It's an
Mhm.
opportunity to start. Well, we have an opportunity to start all over every second, really.
Yeah.
But we look at this as an opportunity to take a look back and then take a look forward as we go. So we're so excited to be here. We've got a couple of people who've joined us already, and I've been so I've been so excited about it. I forgot to even log in myself. So
I know.
but
It really is. It's an exciting time right now.
it is. I love the two holidays together. You've got Christmas, and then right afterwards, I start looking forward to the new year, but then also the celebration. And there have been plenty of years where I didn't do a celebration, or where I did instead go to church. But this year we are going to. Some friends of ours always they've started having a dinner party traditionally, and we
Mm.
go and have dinner with them, and then ring in the new year with them, and it's always a lot of fun. So what are
Yeah.
you doing this evening?
Yeah. So I'm doing a very similar thing. So we're celebrating with my brother and some people at his house. So we're all bringing things, and it's a great way to bring in the new year. So we see Safa. Safa's wishing everybody a happy new year. And Sally's got a beautiful picture up on her Facebook.
Oh, hello, Safa. And I saw
Beautiful.
your message last night. I was so touched by it. I didn't even know how to respond, but I
I
will.
know.
I will. Thank you so much. That was so sweet. So sweet.
Beautiful. Yep. So I have my journal, Rhea.
You got it.
It's right
I
here,
have
baby.
I have mine.
All right.
So
'Cause that
so
has a
we
lot
are
to do with our message tonight.
and and this is and hello to anyone who's joining us on the replay. This is an opportunity for all of us to interact as we normally do, but then takes things a little step further, which is why we've asked people to have their journals ready, because not every we're going to ask some questions, and you're not going to answer all of the questions during the course of the time that we're together, but really this is just to make you think and make you start working out those things that you need to work out
Yep.
as you go into the new year. So let's see. All right. So I see us here. I just want to make sure I turn the sound down so that I don't frighten myself as we do this. And there we go. Okay. All right. I think was it last week when we were we were on, and all of a sudden, like, my whole stand that holds the camera and the phone and everything, the light just like crashed down on me. So I got smart. I got a weight and put it on there, so that won't happen again. But let's just take a moment, and first of all, this is a busy season. This is a busy time, but let's just focus our energy right now. Because I know if you're like me, if you're like Laura, we're always running and moving from here to there, and crossing things off the list and getting to the next point. So we want to just take a moment to just center ourselves. If we can all just take a deep breath, and hold it for the count of five. So let's just inhale. One, two, three, four, five, and exhale. And let's do that one more time. One more time. Inhale. One, two, three, four, five, and exhale. So that way we get our energy just a little more focused. We're a little calmer, we're a little more centered, where we feel ourselves, in the chair, feet on the ground, and we're ready to go, ready to go. So I want to start with a series of questions and or prompt, or what do they call them, journaling prompts, and then we'll move into the next, and take it from there. So the first thing that we want to do, even before we start talking about what we want to see in 2020, just as we look back, I learned this from a another leader, another mentor, that first, let's celebrate ourselves. We spend a lot of time thinking of great things that other people have done, or we do just the opposite. We spend time thinking of things that didn't go right, didn't go well. But why don't you list, and you can list it now, or just make certain that you do list it sometime this evening. Take the time to do so. List five things where you can say, I am proud of myself because in 2019 I did, and then you fill in the blank. You fill in the blank. Five things that you accomplished. I can speak for myself, one of the things that I am proud of that I did in 2019 was continuing to do this session with Laura. That, we're moving into our second anniversary and doing this. And neither of us would have thought as we started this. I am sure, Laura, you agree. Neither of us would have thought we'd have been doing this for 2 weeks, let alone two
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
remember back to that first week when we had so many problems trying to figure things out, and then to cap it off, we thought we were off the air. We weren't. We were still talking. So
Yeah.
uh, so that's one of the things I am proud of for myself. But I have a list, and I started with five, and actually I ended up going to 15 things that I was able to think of,
Mhm.
that it was really, and I was surprised at the number, because if I had to think of 15 things that I wanted to do that I didn't do. Sometimes that's easier for us to do that, but we're not going that way. We're not going that way. So
Right.
let's five things that you're proud of that you accomplished in the year 2019. Five
And
things.
and Rhea, when you talk about those things that you're proud of, it helps you to see the kind of person you became in 2019, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like for instance, in order to do what we do every week with our schedules, it takes a lot of commitment and self-discipline and persistence, right? And
Mm-hmm.
those are things
Mm-hmm.
that I know I wanted to work on in 2019. So
Mm-hmm.
part of this, when we look at the things that you're proud of, look at the person you became by doing those things, right? Because, John Maxwell always says that, he talks about it's not about the goal, it's about the growth. So everything you're proud of, with every step you took, it created who you are right now. You weren't this
Yes,
person when you started 2019,
that's right.
but you are the person you are today because
Yes.
of all of those things. So just bear that in mind, that you're becoming that person. And every goal we achieve, at least I found this out about myself, it's going to take a new version of me to get to the
Mm-hmm.
next step.
Mm-hmm. And it can be. And maybe these weren't things that in January 1 you didn't have them on the list, but or as you think into them, like, there are examples of things that someone said that they were proud of themselves for finding a new dentist. Now that sounds like something fairly mundane until they started talking through it, because one of the things that she said was that she wanted to really own her voice and be able to speak up more for herself. So she had a level of dissatisfaction, and she was able to speak to that and take action as a result.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that is, for many of us, an accomplishment. So yes, think of those things that, as Laura said, that growth that you had in 2019, and list those. But please start with five. Like I said, you may have more than five,
Mhm.
but five is a great place to start. So everyone got that? So we
So,
are
Rhea,
going,
why don't you, can
yes.
you just repeat that as two other people just came on? So five things.
As you look at 2019 and you ask yourself, what we are celebrating our own uh, accomplishments, celebrating ourselves, and I said a moment ago that quite often we it's so easy for us to say, oh, I didn't do this, or I didn't accomplish this, or we take the negative road. No, as we move forward into 2020, let's start by listing our accomplishments. Let's celebrate ourselves. So, what are five things that, and you can look back and say, I am proud of myself because in 2019 I did X. So it could be that you really were working through a fear in one area, and your growth included, I don't know, climbing a hill, climbing a mountain. It could be
Mhm.
so many different things,
It could be
and it's personal.
it could be a relationship that you were working
Yes.
at trying to mend, or forgiveness of some sort. It could be
Mm-hmm.
anything, but five things, you know.
Yes.
All right, Rhea, so let's keep going.
Yes. So those five things. So we'll move on to the next. And then as we move forward into 2020, think about what it means to practice self-care. And Laura and I have talked about self-care a lot of times. And we're not just talking about going to the spa, although we like to go to the spa. But we're not just talking about that, but being good to yourself, practicing, demonstrating love towards, even if it means that there are times listening to yourself when you tell yourself that you're tired, taking a break. I mean, there are so many ways to practice self care. List those things that you are doing, that you did do in 2019, or that you want to do in 2020. So and the self, and also, we've said on this call that even discipline is the highest form of self love and self care. So I can speak for myself. One of the things I said I really wanted to be tuned into going forward is the discipline that's required to do the things that I want to do.
Mhm.
You can be brilliant, but if you're
Mhm.
not disciplined, and you don't take action, things don't happen.
Right,
Yes. What do you
right.
think
And
about
that's why
that, Laura?
yeah, I sometimes, like for instance, are your goals in 2020 similar to your goals in 2019? Right? Because sometimes people set the same goals,
Mm-hmm.
but there's something that's keeping them from achieving them,
Mm-hmm.
right? And very often that's self-discipline. And I know with me, like I said, self-discipline was something I was working on because I was involved in a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to get to the point where I was involved in too many things and I needed to be disciplined more because what was happening was, you all heard this on Tune In Tuesday, I wasn't going to the gym and I wasn't happy about that. So, I had to start being more self-disciplined. So yes, I think that's huge. It's huge in the new year. It's huge in our goals and in our everyday life. It's much
Mm-hmm.
easier said than done.
Yes, yes, and it takes work,
Yeah.
and we have to be very intentional about it. But think about those areas where you want to practice and how you want to practice. greater self-love, greater self-care. So that's the second thing. And then we recognize the importance. Years ago when I was a child, I learned this song, "No man is an island, no man stands alone." And there are people who help us, who support us, who make it easier for us to do the things that we do. And now there are people who are on the opposite side of that as well. I understand. But if there's anyone in your life that that you appreciate, who has been helpful to you as you work through this your personal growth, as you're on this personal growth journey, then make a plan to take the time to acknowledge them. Now, I said 6 people, but it may not be 6, or it may be 12. But take a moment in the coming days to acknowledge them, to thank them for the help that they provided to you in 2019, and let them know that you're really looking forward to great things in 2020. That people love to be appreciated. I
Yeah.
had someone thank me just the other day, and it meant as much as any gift that someone could have bought and given to me. It was really special. It was really special. So
Yeah. And
acknowledging others.
can I
Hmm.
add to that a little bit too?
Oh yeah.
So the ones that have helped you along the way, absolutely. Let them know, send them a note, tell them it means so much. But also think about who you're helping along the way. Who are you encouraging? Who are you sharing knowledge with? Who are you helping to grow? So
Yes.
acknowledging those who have helped you and bearing in mind who you're helping to grow as well.
And then also, and who you can help. Even if you're not helping them now. I mean, one of the things that Laura talks about is our youth. And I think it's so important to, you don't have to develop relationships with all of the kids in the world, but when you have an opportunity to encourage a young person, take that opportunity. You never know how much that will mean to them in the future. To know that there was someone who saw them, who acknowledged them, and
Yeah.
who recognized either their struggle or their accomplishments. So please take the time to acknowledge those who have helped you, and acknowledge others, especially our youth, especially
Yeah.
our youth.
It does.
Yes.
It means so much to them, especially this generation who feels misunderstood. But those notes, those emails, I got an email the other day from somebody that I read it like 10 times because it
Mm-hmm.
was just. So it does. It means a lot. And also you helping others, whether they're youth or just people that can use some encouragement, that can use it, because Paul Martinelli says, the person with the most awareness is the one that's responsible, right? So if you're growing and you've experienced growth, help the people around you to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Bring them with you. That's
Mm-hmm.
what leaders do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you bring them with you, and it makes the growth and the ride even more enjoyable. So
It
yes.
certainly does. It certainly
Yes.
does. What they say, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go with somebody
Mm.
else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then the last question that we want you to ask yourselves, and I ask myself this question too, is really, what do you want? What do you want in 2020? And it's surprising the number of times you ask people, or the number of people you ask that question, and there are people who just say, I don't know. I've never really thought about it. We get caught up in the doing on a daily basis, and there are things that we have to do. We have duties, we have responsibilities, we have things that we must do. But how often do we really take the time to ask ourselves, what do I want? What do I really want? And then when you answer that question, and you may need to ask yourself a few times over time, and it's not always the same answer, but you could have you can want something related to your family life. You could want something related to your career, but still, it's the question: what do I want? Because unless you know that, you're you can't drive, you can't direct yourself to it, you can't navigate to that if you don't know what it is.
Right.
Laura's talked about the GPS and being able to navigate. Well, if you don't set the GPS with an address, that's the first thing that it asks you
Mm.
for. You're not going to go anywhere. I mean, you can go
Right.
somewhere, but where will you be?
Right.
So,
And that's, there are different ways of reaching goals and different ways of reaching a destination, right? So there's the compass and there's the GPS. So if you're going by the compass, it's going to give you a direction: north, south, east, west, and you go in that direction. But let's say your goal is to go to Vermont, and you keep going north and you go straight north. If you don't turn in a certain place, you're not going to get there. You're going to go to Canada. You're just going to keep going north because that's your direction, right? If you have a destination, if you have GPS, it's going to tell you where to turn, where to bear right. It's going to know where there's traffic and accidents. And you're the GPS because you have done your life thus far. So when you're making your plan for 2020, and Rhea started us off by talking about your accomplishments in 2019 and what you're most proud of. So take what you know, your experience, the mistakes that might have been made, times things didn't work out. Take all of that into account and then look at what you want for 2020
hmm
and put together a GPS, steps to take to get you there. Okay? Because again, we have to become that person to get what we want, right? It's about
hmm
becoming that person. So we can keep going in the direction, but we won't really know how to fine tune what we want unless we know what we want.
hmm
So that's the piece. And when you ask somebody, what do you want, right, Rhea, how many people can answer that right off the cuff, what
Oh
they want?
yeah, oh yeah. It's
Wait,
not
Rhea,
an
you,
easy
you
question.
talk for a second. I'll be right back. 1 second. My son is leaving. Hold on. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. So it's an easy question to ask, not always an easy question to answer. So while we're waiting, I see that a few comments have come in, and we'll start with those. So of course, Safa, thank you so much. Hello, beautiful lady. She says, "Happy New Year to you both and everyone here, and Happy New Year to everyone." And count your blessings. It's good to give grace to others. Absolutely. I I I I don't know that any of us do it often enough. So it's something to be mindful of as we go into the next year, is not only counting our blessings but also being sharing that grace, being graceful to others, being grateful to others. That's so important. So Laura, I just started going through some of the comments, and
Oh, great.
we've got Sarah Elizabeth who is with us,
Oh, yes,
who
Sarah.
waved to us. So hello, Sarah. Hello. And Safa says it's not about reaching
Deb.
the goal; it's about who we become to reach it. That is so right. That
Mm-hmm.
is so right. It's the journey that is just so important.
Yes, it
So
is.
let's see. So we've got
And Debbie.
Debbie. Oh,
Deb,
wow.
gosh.
Hello. I still have some of your cards. Hello and Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year, everybody. And
Barbara
Barbara,
Ann. Yes.
mhm, and Allie.
Hi, Allie.
I have started doing this already. Yes. Way to go, Deb. Oh, Donna says, I swear you're reading my vision board, Rhea. Donna, tell us what.
Yeah, what's on the vision board?
What do I want in 2020? I want me to know me, to grow me, to love me.
Mm,
Oh,
mm-hmm.
oh, that is a good goal to have, Donna. Tell you. Yes, I grow and use a catcher's mitt to bring everybody with me. Oh, that's so awesome. You read my mind. Laura, I finally got clarity. I'm going to share the gift you gave me with others. Marriage and family is not only my personal calling, but my calling to serve others. Oh, Safa says, come to Canada.
Yes. Okay. We have to do that. Laura and I, we talk about, as you can imagine, Laura and I get together and we talk a lot. It's I said Laura and I could spend 2 hours just talking about French fries.
It
So
goes so fast. Time goes so fast when we talk. I don't know what happens.
but one of the things we talked about, when you ask the question, what do you want? And what do we want to do in the future is putting Tune In Tuesday on the road. So we are going to be making plans. We are going to be very intentional about that because
Mhm.
we want to not only meet everyone who is here and supports us, but we want to go out and meet others as well. So we thank you so much, and we will make a stop in I mean, we're in New York. We're so close to Canada. Of course, we'll go
Yeah,
to Canada.
absolutely. I'd love
That's
Canada.
right. That's right.
Um, all right. So, do you want to recap, Rhea, or you think we're good?
Yep. So we've got the. I can recap the 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 things that the prompts that we've
Hmm.
given you. So celebrating your individual wins in 2019. How do you practice self-care? How will you practice self-care in the coming year? Acknowledging people who have been supportive, and then also being intentional about acknowledging others, about acknowledging or helping others or supporting others through your encouragement, through acknowledgement, through just being able to let them know that they're seen and that you are with them on their journey, and then answering the question, what do you want? And Laura, when you and I talked about this before, there were a couple of questions that you had, the follow-ups to that, which are, what is it, as you really think into what it is you want, what does that feel like, was one of
Hmm.
the wonderful questions that you asked. And then even, what does it sound like? I mean, just apply all of your senses to that.
And
If you, when you look at what you want, when you think of getting to that finish line, getting to the point where you've reached that goal,
mhm.
how do you feel? What is it? What does it feel like? What is it? What do you feel like on the inside? Is your
Yeah.
heart racing? All of those kinds of things, the
Mhm.
sensory questions
Mhm.
we want you to ask yourself. And then we want to talk about, so the next 90 days. So I can talk about some of the failures I've had with New Year's resolutions. And one of the things for me it's been problematic is that I didn't really make plans. It was, I just named something that I was going to do, but I didn't define it. It was, I didn't say, well, this is what I'll do for the first 30 days or the first 60 days or 90 days. This is how I'll know that it's working. And it was just, I'm going to, I mean, one thing, I'm just going to show up at the gym. and work out, and I needed more structure to that.
Right.
So, we wanted to talk to you about being very intentional as you set goals so that you're not just throwing things up on the paper, running off to do things, and then feeling feeling very disappointed in yourself when you don't do those things. And then Laura and I, going forward, are going to talk to you about what that is. I mean, there's the goal here and there's the achievement here, and there's something in the middle that is not, and we're not connecting those two things.
Right.
So we want to spend time in 2020 with you talking about what it takes to make that connection.
Yeah, and here's what I've noticed is I've always had goals. I've always had goals. I've always been a goal setter. I've always had my eye on what I want more of in my life. Um, but again, it was direction. I knew what I wanted, but I didn't have the plan, the steps that it was going to take. But I also wasn't that person yet, right? So every single up level in your life is going to take a different version of you to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So, where you got in 2019 with your life, your accomplishments, your proud moments, your feel good times, that happened because you were able to get to that point. What got you to that point is probably not going to be what gets you to the next point. So it's about this growth that we go through from one phase to the next phase. And it comes from the inside out, right? It's growing who we are so that we can achieve what we say we want. So for
Mm-hmm.
instance, Donna is talking about, and she has shared, um, she's saying that she wants to celebrate, focus, and embrace those who authentically chose to be part of my life, to live my life according to what I believe, know, and feel was true for me, start investing on traveling and exploring places that tug at my heart, to see, maybe relocate in the future, to meet new people, welcome new challenges for purpose of inner growth and healing. Last but not least, to learn how to better love and embrace me. Okay, that's what she's saying. Now, those are some beautiful things that she wants to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now, Donna, what I would ask you is, what is your plan to know yourself better, to embrace yourself, to better love yourself? Do you journal? Do you journal about how you feel? Do you treat yourself with care, with grace? Um, what is it that you're going to do that will allow you to get to know yourself better? And as far as the exploring and the traveling and meeting new people,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
what's the plan to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what are some places you can travel to that are good first steps? Do you have friends or relatives that live in other places that maybe you might be able to go to visit? So it's about just getting started,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, taking a step towards what it is you want. And
And
I
then
know Donna's been on a journey. She's come a very long way in her journey.
and Donna, that is, and if you've got that on your vision board, so you've already probably got this already written out, and you started thinking into it. But if you don't, I mean, what you have printed here is a great start, and it
Mm,
is, and you can actually, it looks like one big thing, but it's multiple things that you've included here, and being able to take each of those. I mean, as you just go, to better celebrate, what does that mean? To focus, what does that mean?
right,
Embrace those who authentically choose. What does that mean?
right. What does
And
it look
and
like?
Yeah, and break all of that down, and it's really exciting because you you start to you start to become more energized as you recognize what that looks like, and it's easier to design it, to make plans, to set the goals, and it becomes easier to recognize when you're on track to meeting those goals or when you need to make course corrections. So we
Right.
want to talk to you in more detail about all of this as we go, but we wanted to just get started with making certain that everyone had a place that they were starting from, and not just the usual, oh, let's, sing Auld Lang Syne, and then, we'll have five or two New Year's resolutions, and then where do we go from there? Or the other thing, in looking backwards at all of your failures in 2019, that's not where we wanted to get started with
Right.
this either. And that's not what we do for ourselves. So we want, as we are on the path to leading ridiculously amazing lives, we want the same for you, and that's why we're sharing this with you.
We want to bring you with us, right?
That's right.
It's all
That's
of us
right.
doing this, right?
Eh,
And that's the thing. A goal without a plan is just a wish. And
mm-hmm.
people wish a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
we have great wishes for you. But when you have a goal, listen, it's 2020. I remember thinking years ago, because my youngest graduates college this year. And I remember thinking, he won't graduate until 2020? That's like the alien year. Like, when's that? That's never coming. Well, guess what? It's 2020. It came, it's happening, right? And so we can't waste a day. Like, we cannot waste a day. So what it is we want in our life, it's time to go get it. It's time to put the steps in place
That's
and
right.
them. Take them. So let's look real fast, Rhea, if you don't mind, and see. Um, so Safa says yesterday's home run will not guarantee tomorrow's success. Exactly. The person you became got you to where you are right now, and that
That's
is
right.
friggin' awesome. But
Mm-hmm.
it's going to take the next version of you to get to the
Mm-hmm.
next step
That's
and the
right.
next step. And that's why this constant growth is what we need to get to where we want.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Allie picked a word for 2020, and her word is hope. One of my favorite words in the world. She wants to be hope, receive hope, and celebrate hope. I love it. That's awesome, Allie.
I think that's a great idea. It's just,
Mm.
and pick a word. Pick a word for 2020. And this will be the word that, just hearing it helps you come back to what it is you want to do.
Mm.
Hearing that word, when you say hope, it's like, oh, I know what that means for me. I know, it just transports you
Yeah,
back
yeah,
to that center, that spot. So
yeah.
yes, pick a
That's a
word,
great
pick a word.
that is a great idea. I remember I did that before. Right. So there's like a keyword, right, that brings you where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds you. So Saf also says hope is one of my favorite words in the dictionary. Allie says Rhea gave me permission to praise. Woohoo. Okay, so here's the thing with Allie. Allie praises people that help her, which is beautiful and wonderful.
Yes,
Let's
yes.
let's say something out here right now, right? Your steps that people took to get to where they are, the credit belongs to them, right? So people may have helped you along the way, and that's a wonderful thing, but nobody can make you change your thoughts or take a
Mm-hmm.
step or change something that you've always done, right?
Mm-hmm.
So take the credit for where you are right now, every single one of you. Now, there may have been people that helped, and I know I did help Allie, and I'm grateful, thankful that I was able to. But again, Allie did the work. Allie
Mhm.
changed thoughts. Allie
Mhm.
challenged beliefs that were in her mind, put there from other people, planted there. She did the work. Donna did the work. Safa did the work. I did the work. You did the work. Everyone,
Mhm.
we can go on and on. Dawn and Debbie and all the people in our mastermind groups, they did the work. So here we go, women. Celebrate yourself. Be proud of yourself for where you are right now because you did the work to get yourself here.
That's right. And our men too. We have some men that hang with us as well. But it's the work. It's the work that makes
Right.
the
I,
difference.
I just feel like sometimes women stay in the background a little more. Sometimes women tend to.
Mhm.
Now, there are
Mhm.
men that do that too. Um, but it's been my experience. And so own this. Rhea, when we started off by saying, what have you accomplished that you're proud of in 2019? Like, be proud of yourself.
That's
Own where
right.
you are. Own where you are because wherever you are right now, it's exactly where you're supposed to be.
And there's nothing narcissistic. There's nothing vain in that. It's necessary. It is necessary. And it's exciting and it's empowering and it strengthens us. So and we haven't talked about this in a long time, but I remember once we talked about treating yourself like you treat your best friend.
Mm,
And the way that we encourage our best friends or compliment them, I hope we compliment our best friends. I hope we, but the way that we treat them, treat yourself that way.
yeah,
And it's a wonderful thing. You deserve it. We all deserve it. We all deserve it. By the mere token that we're here, we deserve it. So,
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So figure out what it is you want more of in your life.
mhm.
Use yourself as a GPS because you have experienced your life so far. You know what to beware of, what to watch out for, where to turn. Write the steps out. So here's where you are now, here's where you want to be, and then there are stepping stones that take you there. Each one of
Mhm.
them, one at a time, gets
Mhm.
you to where you want to be. But more importantly, it gets you to who you want to be.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Well, I think we've reached the end of our final broadcast for 2019 for
Woo,
2019.
woo, woo.
Yes, yes. So we are
Wow.
looking forward to what 2020 is going to bring. And I think, I keep saying clarity. I love
Mhm.
2020 because it is, 2020 vision. So I'm looking to be even more clear on
Mhm.
what's out there for each of us as we go forward. We can't thank you enough. I mean, we would, yeah, I guess we could show up and talk to zero people. We could talk to each other and we could talk to each other for hours. But it makes a difference having all of you with us, your comments, your questions, your encouragement. It really means so much to us, so we can't thank you enough.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, this was our mission, Rhea. And so by all of the people that tune in, that watch the replay, that get to the comments, you're helping us to achieve something that we really set out to do. And
Hmm.
it's a movement. So share with your friends, share with the people that could use growth, that are interested in growth. Share it with anybody because
Please
we
do.
are we are looking to make a movement. We really are. So we thank you for being our friends and being with us every week and spending time and growing with us. It's it's a privilege. We take it as a privilege to be able to grow with
Yes,
you.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Okay.
happy New Year, everybody, with so
Happy
much
New
love.
Year.
Celebrate tonight, love yourself tonight, and just
Yes,
feel it in your heart that this is going to be your time.
yes,
This
absolutely.
is your year. Let's go get it. Let's go get it.
Go get it. Okay. All
Happy
right.
New Year,
Thank you.
everybody.
Happy New Year. Mhm. Happy New Year,
Love you,
Laura.
Rhea.
Love
I
you.
love you to
Love you.
pieces.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Celebrate. Happy New
Bye.
Year. Bye, everybody.